Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Soulfire Tarot. My name is Steve. This is a Zodiac Tarot reading for the month of March 2025. I have before me splayed the deck of tarot. I also have the Psychic Tarot, which I'll be drawing for more positive, upright themes. I also have the Wild Spirit Animal Oracle cards. And lastly, I have the Blind Spot Oracle cards from Teal Swan. And during my reading, at some point after the display of cards have come out, I will be using this obsidian sphere for some enhanced clairvoyant, claircognizant clarity added to the reading for you. And, excuse me, to begin, let's see what the cards bring up as the picture and theme perhaps for this March. The Hermit reversed. That was upright. The Six of Cups. The Princess of Wands. The Ten of Swords reversed. And the Six of Swords reversed. Gemini, I'm kind of getting a theme here that there might have been some kind of breakup for some of you. And that you are kind of in a position where things have kind of gotten shaken up. There's been some kind of destruction, some kind of breakdown of structure. And yeah, that you're kind of in a position where you're hesitant about perhaps possibly looking how you move forward. But I already see a suggestion with this splay around reconnecting with your passion, with your brilliance. This is the Princess of Wands. This is somebody who is confident and poised to convey their spirited feelings and ability to manifest and conduct in the world, kind of poised to make something new with that confidently, but in a way that isn't arrogant necessarily, putting forth, and that there might be hesitations to put yourself back out there. Or perhaps this is saying that this isn't necessarily a time, perhaps on the other side of it, to necessarily be looking for this kind of romance, this kind of coming together with feelings and connection. Perhaps for some of you, you've been going it alone, or you haven't been taking the time. Perhaps this is suggesting that you need to take some time for yourself in solitude to gain some wisdom and insights about whatever the circumstance might be at hand that has brought forward this or this to be avoided, this kind of destructuring and of structure of building here, whatever that metaphor might mean. Yeah, so let me pull one of these psychic tarot cards to get some added thematic clarity. Yeah, we have the 13 of the major arcana. And this, it is called the Transformation card. Yeah, I'm seeing this fairy magic woman kind of wistfully looking about her surroundings, what's coming, she has wings as if she were a butterfly, and she's grasping this old shell of a face here. I don't know if you can see that, this old statue, perhaps of herself. So yeah, it looks like a theme of transformation here for you, Gemini, which, if I recall for last month's reading, it was also kind of touching on a similar thread here, and I could see how this month to month perhaps connects. I'm going to draw some additional tarot cards to line out this picture. Yeah, we have the Nine of Cups below the Hermit reversed here. Yeah, I feel like this is, I feel like there's a sense of freedom that comes, from the different options and opportunity that you have. And I think it's important to be grateful about the different options, choices, and freedoms that we have when it comes to the fruits of our life and our emotional life. Our different friends or connections or support group, there's an abundance there, and it might be calling that rather than going it alone. It's important to connect and find support with others where you can share in the fruitfulness and the nourishing, reception of, eating from the fruits of others and what they've created in their life. Yeah, and underneath the Six of Cups here, where there's this kind of like putrid, but kind of solemn, romantic sunset imagery, we have the Knight of Wands, which is calling for us to courageously, stride forward and moving forward, perhaps on something to do with a romantic relationship or some kind of partnership. Perhaps we have to continue kind of bringing our forward kind of blazing integrity and passion and commitment that drives us, to secure the kind of relationships we need in our life, and the inspiration that gives us motivation for whatever else it might be, driving us to pursue the manifestation of that which we feel emblazoned by. Yeah, and underneath the Princess of Wands, this is the card of kind of uniquely building and practically taking the time to build a structure, creating your own thing. And I think this is cautioning you underneath the Princess of Wands not to be, once again, overly arrogant about what your position may be with regards to your aptitude, your alluredness, your kind of poised position that affords you some kind of power in creation of how things manifest. It also might be cautioning you to kind of like slow down and, take the time. Don't rush something. You don't want to break this brick and ruin the wall, so to speak. Everything has to be precisely, carefully done, and it takes time. You don't want to rush something. Now, underneath the Ten of Swords, we have the Nine of Swords. Interesting. So, yeah, this is kind of the card of like ruin and kind of wallowing, left to yourself after, some kind of battle or war or destruction or something. So I feel like this might be kind of cautioning you to perhaps, be careful of what kind of like battles you pick for how that might potentially destabilize something, and bring some kind of ruin. Or perhaps this could also be talking or suggesting to bring, take time to grieve through your losses. And it could have been, a disagreement of some sort. Let's see, and underneath the Nine of Pentacles, we have the Justice card. Yeah, so bringing things into balanced perspective, weighing and kind of measuring reality and your position. The Justice card is different than the Judgment card, We have here, there's this coyote, and she's holding a sword and the balance. So underneath the Six of Pentacles here, where I feel like there's a hesitation or perhaps a caution around kind of seeing what you want to do with regards to this field of the Pentacles, the suit of work and material life and our wealth and abundance. This is perhaps cautioning to weigh things out, perhaps in finances, making a decision, or accounting for what you have, what you can afford, perhaps what you can't, and bringing kind of justice to your life, doing yourself justice in whatever way that could relate to that Six of Pentacles reversed. I'm going to draw another psychic tarot card here. Yeah, so this is the Eight of Wands, I believe, but it is communicating positive movement forward. So I think during this month, it's important to understand and keep into context that there's a theme of transformation. Think about the butterfly. It has to go in a state of chrysalis and kind of reimagine, redream. It breaks down its body, its form as it was, to go through this time and this process of reconstituting itself and transforming into something more agile, beautiful, radiant, and it receives of the flowers, the beautiful, supple things of life, and it helps pollinate, by going flower to flower and like, this tastes so good, I love this. And then as it does it goes to another flower, and it's like cross-connecting things here. So yeah, I feel like ultimately, keep in mind, even with what adversity or misfortune there could be month to month, that ultimately things are moving forward. And you have the power within yourself to find the balance and the dynamic that is appropriate for you to wisely move forward through what these cards seem to be kind of depicting as themes for this month. Now for the animal spirit card here, draw two, and I'm going to put these over the tarot cards. Haha. Once again, actually, we have the transformation card. The butterfly. So that's reinforcing that. That's reinforcing and embracing the change and the transformation that you might be undergoing. Sometimes our attitude and our perspective around what's happening, and rather than seeing like, oh, poor me, these things have happened to me, it's about embracing that you're going through a transformation. If it seems like your, life has been happening to you rather than you've been, making life happen. But nevertheless, you can seize this time and opportunity to facilitate the beautiful unfolding of this transformation that is undergoing in your life. And for another, so it's the shark card. I actually drew this for myself yesterday. I'm still getting familiar with all these. The title of the shark card is Fear. But let's think about that for a moment. The shark. In the popular mind, sharks are feared creatures, predators, right? But the probability of a shark, attacking you on a beach or wherever is so low, we are more probabilistically likely, to get in a car crash. So this kind of asks us to reflect on some of the things that we might be afraid of, and perhaps if we more thoroughly assess our fears and touch into them and have the courage to look through them and get different perspective, perhaps from others or perhaps from learning more about a situation, it might not be so fearsome as well. And in more of a gestalt sense of understanding the spirit of the shark is kind of wayward, somewhat nomadic being. They're not always together. They mature and they go off on their own, and they just kind of are like predatory scavengers a lot of the times in the ocean, but they're highly sensitive. They might not necessarily be able to see the most in the depths and the expanse of the ocean, but they have a super keen sense of smell, and they also can feel into subtle energies. So perhaps this is also suggesting tapping into your deeper instinctual senses when it comes to pursuing the things that will ultimately nourish and serve your growth. And perhaps something of fear is directly related to that thing of growth. So very interesting. I'm going to pull a couple more tarot cards here. Yeah, we have the Star. And once again, this is kind of bringing forward like how we are combining our resources, working with our different elements, applying our magic in life when it comes to getting ourselves in a position where we can truly magnify and bring forth the luminous manifestation of the radiance of our being, this kind of innocence and purity. We see a silver and gold cup in the alchemical sense, the heart and the mind, the combining of these forces to bring something that is radiant and beautiful. And I believe that in light of these transformation themes, this card spells a little bit more detail about the steps in how transformation operates. So, yeah. Wonderful. Very interesting. Next, I will look to the obsidian sphere to see what additional insights or clear summarization may be had for this reading. Yes, the word transformation is definitely coming to the fore. For some, trials and tribulations have occurred prior this month. But once again, trust in the process of transformation that ultimately these changes, albeit somewhat radical and perhaps destructive to the stability and sustenance of our life, are actually helping clear the way for a new kind of opportunity where we may be clear to recombine certain elements in our life to bring forward our true confidence and power for what we have to bring to creation. Certain alliances may be changing, but in navigating this, finding a balance and a sense of what is right and accounting for ourselves will help us bring us into a position to better decide what we are going to make of this new field of opportunity with new resources, perhaps new work. I'm getting something around be not scattered, but find gratitude to concentrate your energies when accounting for things. This will help refill the cups that you have in your heart, in your mind, and help bring into perspective the things that have nourished us and do nourish us. And it will help keep the cup going as we go through this process of transformation to come into our brilliance. Lovely. So with that, I'll shift over to Teal Swan's Blind Spot Oracle cards, which may help further illuminate and bring some light into areas of possible resistance and or things within the shadow. The 32. interesting. I've never seen one of these sigils that is so condensed. The bold. We have the 32, the master number 5, once again pertaining to the transformation and alchemization of elements. So let's see what 32 is about here. Judgment. If you have drawn the sigil, your negative judgment in this scenario is perhaps making it impossible to get the results you want. To have a perspective at all, you must judge. To even call a clock is to judge. It is a clock and thus restricts its potential energy to that of a clock. We judge. That's natural. We need that. That's what people do. And judgment, like any tool, can be beneficial to you or harmful, depending on when and how it is used. We all have a perspective about each other. If you have an opinion, you have judged. Trying not to have an opinion defies life. It is the flexibility or openness of the opinion that makes the opinion either more or less painful. And it is our perspectives and individual preferences that fuel universal expansion. Hearing other people's honest perspectives can be very beneficial to our growth and to the expansion of the universe. A great many people try to get rid of all judgment in themselves. This is neither beneficial nor possible. However, noticing and changing your painful judgments, the ones that seek to push something away from you, as well as developing a flexibility in your perspective, is beneficial. If you have drawn the sigil, what you must first understand is that it is painful to negatively judge and disapprove of something for both the giver of the criticism and the receiver. In holding a negative judgment, we must match the frequency of our negative judgment, and so we hold ourselves, as well as the receiver, in a low vibrational chokehold. This is what we do when we try to push away anything in a universe based on the law of attraction. We do nothing but vibrationally join the thing we are pushing against. It becomes included in our vibration. This is why many teachers and guides will tell you not to accept any negative judgment within yourself and instead adopt the policy that, quote, if you don't have something nice to think or say, don't think or say anything at all, end quote. But this is neither practical nor useful, and it puts a muzzle on a part of you that very much needs your attention and care. Becoming aware of your own judgments opens the door for growth and sharing your honest opinion or experience, even if that opinion or experience is not positive, provides others the opportunity for growth. So what that can mean is that by not being honest about perhaps some of the judgments or criticisms we have to give honestly to others about something, restricts opportunities for growth and reflection, in the collective process of learning, growing, adapting, evolving. When we make judgments about situation, we believe behavior is due to something in a person's situation without fully understanding that person's situation. For example, we may judge someone as irritable because they are on their period, when in fact it is because of something that we did to irritate them. Can you see how in that example it reduces and denies the reality? We're just closed off. They're just on their period, that's why they're upset. Blame it on that. And we're kind of shutting ourselves off, blinded to the bigger part of the equation. That they might be on their period, they might be more prone to be irritable, but there may have been something that might have caused and affect them to feel more irritable. And to deny that is to deny part of the reality, and we're doing a disservice to ourselves ultimately and to each other from just, being in truth. When we make judgments about a person's character or personality, we believe their behavior is due to an aspects of their personality, when often it isn't. Our brains are wired to make automatic judgments. We move through the world quickly discerning. We do not necessarily spend time or energy on understanding everything we perceive. When we judge, we have an attachment to right versus wrong and good versus bad. Excuse me. We are very black and white in the way that we relate to the world. We say a definitive yes or a no to things without much openness or understanding. In truth, you may be terrified to understand and to open yourself to what you have already condemned. This is an understandable but unnecessary fear. It must also be said that people cannot change or often even admit to what you judge them for. It is too unsafe to do so. Flexibility and understanding are the only things that will make a person safe enough to look at the truth and make changes, especially changes that scare them. For example, if you judge someone as bad and wrong for eating meat, they will defend their stance because in that moment, you're making them feel wrong and bad. If you push something away, which is what you are doing when you judge, it will not be open to you or your perspective. If you have drawn the sigil, using awareness, patience, and bravery to get outside your attachments to what is right or wrong, good or bad, is critical so that you can understand instead of judge. Doing so sets the stage for unification, harmony, and the communication that creates resolve. In the spirit of love, dear Gemini, may you be well. Thank you for tuning in with me, Steve, at Soulfire Tarot. If you liked this reading, please give a thumbs up, and I encourage you to subscribe and also to share a video perhaps for another friend sign. And I'll see you next time. Peace.